Welcome to Step Zero. I'm your host, Caitlin Henry, and today we're having a rare solo episode. Ever since I started doing interviews, I've been receiving requests to be on, or I reach out to someone I find phenomenal, and I've been doing a lot of interviews, but today marks 7 years sober for me. And so I just wanted to take a quick moment to acknowledge this milestone. 7 feels weird. It feels a little different. I don't know if it's because it's creeping up on 10. They say one day at a time, but once you get past 5 years, it's kind of like I no longer think about alcohol as a solution. The obsession has been removed. And I'll talk a little bit about how today. But I also want to acknowledge the fact that I have learned so many coping skills through this sobriety, through this 7 years of trudging this path. Quite soon after the physical obsession was removed, became all about emotional sobriety. This is why I started this podcast. I talk about emotional sobriety, spirituality, self development, and really just sober curiosity. What does it feel like to just have an inkling of willingness to say, ooh, alcohol isn't serving me. What am I going to do about it? That person, place, or thing is not going to change. What can I change in myself? And so that's my story. I actually started by going to Al Anon, which is the program in recovery, a 12-step program for friends and family of alcoholics. It's not because I thought I had a problem. It's because everyone else in my life, from my father to my now ex-husband, everyone else had a problem, not me. And so I went to Al Anon, and what Al Anon does is you're pointing a finger at everyone else, but then they say three are pointing back at you. And so it really magnified. I have been blaming everyone around me, but what does my drinking look like? How can I acknowledge that? And for those of you that want to dive deeper into that story and how I got sober, you can go back to episodes 1, 2, and 3. I broke my foot. I reconsidered my relationship with alcohol, and I Googled girl that feels like alcoholic but isn't one. I was so confused. Normally, I get a laugh for that because it's how ridiculous is that? But it was so true to me in that moment. And that's why ever since then, I've had this curiosity around why is drinking affecting me negatively if I was using it as my best friend? I used it when I was happy. I used it when I was sad. I couldn't imagine my life without it. So to say that today is 7 years sober feels unreal because talking to you about that makes me feel like I'm right back to that moment. And that's why it's important for me to still talk about what alcohol felt like to me because it doesn't really go away, but I turned my pain into purpose. You guys have heard me time and time again. My favorite quote, your greatest gift is offering to the world what you wish was offered to you in your moment of greatest pain. And once I started working a program, eventually I did go to AA. I worked the 12 steps, and I love now working with others. And once I found what joy that step 12 and giving back what was freely given to me felt like, that's what spurred this podcast. That's what spurred my coaching. And I don't just work with sober, curious people. I work with people that have an emotional addiction a lot of the times because when we remove alcohol, or for some people I work with, it's sugar, it's sex, it's social media and technology. We can be addicted to a lot of things. But once we remove that thing, what are the emotions underneath it? And how can I address them? And it is my favorite thing to help people dig out of that space because I was so scared to share my feelings and emotions that I held back for far too long. I don't think I got sober soon enough, quote unquote, but it's all God's timing. And that's something else I worked on this last 7 years, my relationship with my higher power. I've always ebbed and flowed out of spirituality, out of religious dogmas or not. Sometimes I read the Bible almost religiously, like every day. And then sometimes I'll pause and I'll pick up a Buddhist piece of literature. Or right now, I'm reading a book by David Hawkins, and it's called Letting Go. And it is phenomenal. And it's filling that spiritual cup for me of what does this surrender look like? And most of the spiritual traditions talk about this non attachment, and letting go. And that's exactly what I had to do with alcohol. I had to let it go, but I was so attached. And so today, again, celebrating 7 years, I wish I could give you this full, you know, burning bush moment, this, oh, these are the things I've learned and this is what you should do. But what I like to say to people is, the things that help me day to day, still today, that I'm working on, that I'm practicing, I'm never going to be a master of it. I'm always going to be practicing are acceptance and then realizing that sobriety is not a loss. It's really a return to self. I'm not losing my personality. I'm becoming more of my personality. I'm not losing my joy. I'm becoming more joyful. I'm really coming home to myself. And then also, the last thing would be you cannot do this alone. You were never meant to do this alone, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm here. There's so many people in this sober space now. Listen to podcasts, go find group community support. DM me if you want to work with me one on one, or if you just want to have a conversation. I am always willing and open to listen because it's actually what helps keep me sober today. It's just beautiful that giving back and helping others is really the medicine. It's like I have to take this daily medicine. And so I just want you to get curious with your own drinking today. If you're like, holy shit, 7 doesn't feel possible. I could never do that. I personally wrote in my journal today, I didn't think I could get 7 days, let alone 7 years. So again, reach out if you need support. I'm going to hopefully be writing some more on Substack. I offer one-on-one coaching. I also love this podcast so much. Go listen to a few episodes, laugh along with our guests, and thank you for helping me celebrate 7 today.